When we think of a film director, it's easy to picture someone sitting in that classic chair, right? Shouting action and cut. But what really happens in between those two words? The truth is, directing is so much more than just pointing a camera at things. It's really the art of storytelling, of shaping an entire world from the inside out. It's all about the thinking that happens behind the scenery.
And the great director Oliver Stone just nailed it with this quote. He said, "The thinking behind the movie is what's truly interesting. Everything else is just scenery." And that's so true. The fancy equipment, the beautiful locations, even the script itself, all of that is just scenery. The real art, the real magic of directing is the thinking. It's like this invisible architecture of ideas and emotions that a director builds. And that's what becomes the film we all get to experience.
So, where does all that thinking even begin? Well, it's not with a camera, and it's not even with a script. The journey for a real director starts inward. It all begins with finding a personal vision, figuring out the stories that only they can tell.
Yeah, you heard that right. It starts with a philosophy. Seriously, it's about asking, what do I believe about the world? Is your worldview kind of cynical, or are you more hopeful? Do you believe people can find redemption, or are they kind of stuck in their ways? A director's whole body of work is often just a mirror reflecting their deepest convictions. It's the ideas they just can't stop coming back to over and over again. And what's so wild is that sometimes directors don't even know they're doing it. Take author and filmmaker Michael Ravager. He made 20 films before he looked back and realized, whoa, I have a theme here. His was this idea that most people feel trapped, but the really inventive ones find a way to escape. His own life, his own history was shaping his stories the entire time, totally subconsciously. Now that is a director's true voice. Okay, so let's turn this on you for a second. Think about it. What's the common thread in the stories that you just love? The ones you go back to again and again? Are they about the underdog taking on the big system? Or maybe stories about betrayal between friends? The search for a family? Just recognizing that pattern in what you love, that's the very first step to finding your own core story. Okay, so once a director has figured out their why, they need the what, right? So how do you take that big personal vision and turn it into something that actually creates tension, something that grabs an audience and doesn't let go? Well, you build the engine of drama. And at the heart of pretty much every story that works, you'll find these three key ingredients. They're simple, but they are so powerful. First, you've got the objective. What does the character want desperately? Then you need an obstacle. What's the huge thing standing in their way? And finally, you have to have the stakes. What's the absolute disaster that happens if they fail? A story really only works when all three of those are super strong and crystal clear. And this really all boils down to what the great acting theorist Stanislavski said: generalization is the enemy of art. You have to get specific. It's just not enough for a character to, want to be happy. That means nothing. They need to want to win this specific dance competition to save their family's house from foreclosure. The obstacle can't just be society. No way. It has to be this one guy, this loan officer, who holds their entire future in his hands. It's those sharp, specific details that make a story feel real and make it feel urgent. All right, so you've got your personal vision, you've got your dramatic blueprint. Now the director can finally start speaking the unique language of film. And we're not talking about words here, we're talking about communicating huge ideas and deep emotions using the grammar of images and sound, and especially through the absolute magic of editing. So let's talk about this really foundational idea in filmmaking called the Kuleshov effect. It's a super simple experiment that came out of the early days of cinema, but man, does it prove a powerful point. It shows us that the meaning of a shot isn't actually in the shot itself. The meaning is created by what you put next to it. Okay, so imagine this with me. We see a shot of a man's face. He's got a totally neutral expression. Nothing. We have no idea what he's thinking or feeling. It's basically a blank slate, right? Now the director cuts away to another shot. It's a child's coffin. We just hold on that for a second. And then we cut right back to the man's face, the exact same neutral shot from before. So what do you see now? All of a sudden, that neutral expression is filled with this deep, profound sorrow. You feel his grief. But here's the crazy part. The actor didn't change a thing. It's the same shot. Our brains did all the work, creating that emotion simply by connecting the two images. And that, right there, is a perfect illustration of the director's power to literally create meaning out of thin air. And this isn't just a theory, it's used all the time. The great director Fritz Lang used this exact principle to create one of the most devastating sequences in film history in his movie M. So we just hear a mother calling for her daughter, Elsie. Then he shows us an empty staircase, an empty attic, an empty chair at the dinner table. Then Elsie's little ball just rolls out from behind some bushes. And the final shot? Her balloon, the one a stranger bought for her, tangled up in the power lines. We never ever see the terrible thing that happened, but by showing us the absence of the child, Lang tells us everything. It is just gut-wrenching, brilliant storytelling. But of course, a director isn't just working with images and cuts. They're working with people. And directing actors, well, that's a whole other art form. It's this kind of alchemy, a collaborative magic that turns black and white words on a page into living, breathing, believable human behavior. I think the best definition of acting ever came from the legendary teacher Sanford Meisner. He said it was simply living truthfully under imaginary circumstances. And that really gets to the heart of it. The director's job, then, is to create an environment where the actor can do that, to make those imaginary circumstances feel so completely real that the actor's response isn't acted, it's genuine, it's spontaneous. You know where the really great performances live? They live in the gap between what people say and what they actually mean. We call that subtext. Think about it. A simple question like, "Do you want to get another coffee?" could mean anything, right? It could mean, "I really don't want this date to end." Or it could mean, "I need to stall because I have to ask you for a huge favor." Or even, "Let's just stay here instead of going to that awful party." It's the job of the director and the actor to figure out that hidden meaning together, because that's where the real story is. So when you take all of these different threads and you weave them together, the personal vision, the dramatic structure, the cinematic language, the powerful performances, you finally arrive at the director's true power. And that is being the ultimate author of the audience's entire experience. This is such a great metaphor for it. It says the film seems like it's moving into an unknown future, right? But the truth is, its path is already completely set. The director is that storyteller, that puppet master standing just behind the illusion, carefully, meticulously guiding every single moment of our journey. So if there's one thing to take away from all this, it's this. Nothing you see in a film is an accident. I mean, nothing. Every single camera angle, every cut, every line of dialogue and how it's delivered, every shadow in the corner of the frame, it's all a choice. A deliberate choice made by the director to guide how you see things, to make you feel a certain way, and to shape exactly how you understand the story. So the next time you sit down to watch a film, I want you to try something. Try to look past the surface, past just the plot. Ask yourself questions. Why did the director choose that shot? Why did they decide to cut right at that exact moment? Don't just see the scenery. Try to see the thinking behind it. And if you do, you might just discover a whole new art form hiding right there in plain sight.